This Thursday, it's Hogan, it's Jericho, it's the undisputed WWF Championship.
What you gonna do, brothers?
And it's on SmackDown, Thursday on UPN.
After a week of hype with the company building it since the official announcement last Thursday, the first ever Hogan vs. Jericho match is set to headline SmackDown tonight for the WWF title in what would end up the final title match in company history under the WWF name, with the company rapidly setting up everything in place for a rebranding campaign to kick off over the weekend for the official name change to World Wrestling Entertainment. While in the middle of it, this Saturday is set to see one of the biggest non-televised days of the year for the company, with two major events taking place in different parts of the world, with their Raw brand set to end its European tour with the UK-exclusive Insurrection pay-per-view in the Wembley Arena in London, headlined by a double main event of Austin vs. Big Show and Triple H vs. Undertaker, while the SmackDown crew would work a house show in Fort Lauderdale headlined by one of the biggest non-televised matches of the year, with Rock's return to the ring in over a month, teaming with Hogan against Angle and Jericho in the main event, with Rock, who is only scheduled to make his TV return in late June to early July while still on a promotional tour for the Scorpion King, added late to the show due to him living near the building close to his hometown to see the company starting to officially advertise the match in the past 2 weeks. While on the Raw side, Triple H as a SmackDown performer is set to work a rare event on the opposite brand due to him already being advertised for the show before the short notice change of him dropping the belt to Hogan, with the UK pay-per-view set to end up historically significant for a different reason as the final televised event in company history under the WWF initials 2 days before the official change on Monday night, with the final WWF SmackDown broadcast looking to stop the slide of declining numbers over the past 2 weeks, instead seeing the show starting with the lowest opening audience in SmackDown history of just over 3 million viewers for the opening quarter, while picking up over 600,000 viewers minutes later, with Kurt Angle in front of an hometown crowd in Pittsburgh coming out with Lance Storm to present his new t-shirt, interrupted by Edge and Val to see Angle challenging Edge to an hair versus hair match at the Judgment Day pay-per-view. SmackDown's first hour continued with the second televised match of Randy Orton after making his debut last Thursday, going 3 minutes in a rematch against Hardcore Holly to see him being put to the test by being laid out with a strong bump on the entrance ramp, followed by Vince McMahon and Chris Jericho continuing the build-up to the Hogan main event, with Vince adding several stipulations to prevent Undertaker and Triple H from interfering while making it a no DQ match, with the show while climbing gradually throughout, with almost every quarter not picking up enough viewers to offset the record low opening audience, resulting in the show's first hour between 8 to 9 p.m. averaging 3.9 million viewers and the least watched hour in SmackDown history, peaking in the 8:45 to 9 p.m. quarter for the second highest profile match of the night, with Kurt Angle and Lance Storm against Edge and Val Venis. SmackDown crossed over the top of the hour with the finish of the Angle and Storm vs. Edge and Venis tag match going 8 minutes, with Angle going over, followed by Chris Jericho coming out for a promo hyping tonight's main event against Hogan in his first singles title rematch since WrestleMania 18, saying that he's gonna do what Triple H could not by beating Hogan for the title and end Hulkamania tonight, bringing out Triple H to go face-to-face with Jericho, with him taunting Hunter with Vince's declaration of him ending his career if he touches him during the show on the way to the main event, setting up another angle for the next hour with a smiling Hunter teasing a surprise for Jericho, saying that there's no chance of him winning the title tonight, with the top of the hour quarter picking up over 700,000 viewers to over 5.3 million viewers, and with SmackDown only crossing the 3 rating and 5 million viewers marks an hour into the show at 9:15 p.m. in record low figures, SmackDown 2 in several weeks during the past several months was impacted by being preempted in major markets by UPN, which artificially took down the numbers on those shows. The broadcast tonight, while available in 84% of the country with UPN distribution as opposed to the usual figure of close to 90, could not put the blame on any special preemption, with all the WWF's usual top markets airing the show as scheduled, with the big drop in viewership on the night coming in a specific demographic, with the teen audience going down a massive 33% compared to the previous week's already near record low viewership, again bringing up Rock's absence as a major factor in the SmackDown decline in numbers over the past month, with the teen viewership one of his strongest demographics created in the past 4 years during the peak of the boom period, while also raising questions on Hogan's potential impact on the recent drop, which in a coincidence or not coincide with him winning the title, as despite still getting the massive crowd reactions in the buildings the past 10 days saw his TV segments noticeably cooling off since the Backlash pay-per-view, including an unexplainable near-record low number during the Raw overrun 3 days ago on Monday night, in a sharp turnaround to his first 2 months in the company during the Rock NWO program and the post-Red and Yellow Hulkmania return, when he was a strong game-changer on TV and pay-per-view. With the SmackDown broadcast hovering around the 3.5 to 4.8 million viewers range for the first 90 minutes and a record low audience for the show on the way to the Hogan vs. Jericho match that the show was built around, the first ever Hulk Hogan vs. Chris Jericho match with a full week of hype and one of the more advertised main events in months with the company, unlike the results on the night so far, targeting a big audience for the start of May sweeps on television, going over the full final quarter to bump SmackDown to a show-high viewership, but with the show starting at all-time low levels from the first quarter, averaging for the full 2-hour broadcast less than 4.5 million viewers to make it the least watched and lowest rated episode of the brand in SmackDown's nearly 3-year history, with a 2.9 rating. With the only relative positive on the record low night being the Hogan vs. Jericho match going 11 minutes, showing strong interest in the main event to bump the show way above its average, with a peak of over 5.8 million viewers and a strong growth of almost 3 million viewers from the first quarter to the last, as the company would hope to reverse the downward momentum of the past 2 weeks before entering full panic mode, with tonight's number the most worrying sign to date, as Hogan and Jericho, who despite being in the same company for over 3 years during their WCW runs, working their first singles match with Hogan retaining the title after a Triple H setup with him playing Undertaker's music to distract Jericho for Hogan to go over.